most European leaders expected JD Vance to talk about Ukraine and the prospect of bringing peace to a war that's soon going to enter its fourth year. But the U.S. Vice-President had something else on his mind.
The threat that I worry the most about vis-a-vis Europe is not Russia, it's not China, it's not any other external actor. And what I worry about is the threat from within, the retreat of Europe from some of its most fundamental values, values shared with the United States of America.
And he didn't stop there, angering European leaders in the process.
And of all the pressing challenges that the nations represented here face, I believe there is nothing more urgent than mass migration. And more all over Europe, they're voting for political leaders who promise to put an end to out-of-control migration. Now, I happen to agree with a lot of these concerns, but you don't have to agree with me. I just think that people care about their homes, they care about their dreams, they care about their safety and their capacity to provide for themselves and their children. And they're smart.
That seems to have stung the most. Also, because later in the day, the U.S. Vice-President also met with Alice Weidel, the leader of the far-right Alternative for Germany party that has a Nazi past and is currently polling around 20% ahead of elections that will be held on the 23rd of February in Germany. The reactions were swift. First, the German foreign minister called Vance's comments on free speech and firewalling the hardline AfD party from Germany as unacceptable. Then German Chancellor Olaf Scholz strongly rebuked Vance, saying what he did was essentially election interference that was not expected from an ally.
That's why we will not accept it if outsiders intervene in our democracy, in our elections, and in the democratic formation of opinion in favor of this party. That's just not done. Certainly not amongst friends and allies. We resolutely reject this.
This, of course, complicates things for Europe as it finds itself second-guessing its own ally.
Diplomatically, we are in a difficult situation because we had a public confrontation. The American Vice-President clearly offended the German Chancellor by interfering in the elections in the way he did. And there was no bilateral conversation which could have mended this. So JD Vance seems to be clearly betting on the national elections, which will happen Sunday in a week. So it doesn't mean that these diplomatic problems that they go on, but right now the situation is, of course, pretty tense with two opposing positions.
JD Vance has clearly upset the apple cart, but has he in the process also shown how out of touch European leaders are with the changing world order? Well, think about it. Trump called Putin without consulting with any of his European allies who were shocked with the move. The US has made the first move to discuss restoration of peace in Ukraine. Europe isn't part of that first meeting in Saudi Arabia with Russia. And government after government in Europe is facing a huge backlash from its own people on issues that Vance has flagged, like immigration. Recent attacks by immigrants in Europe haven't made things any easier for European leaders, who have defended aid to Ukraine and supported immigrants into their nations. This even as far-right parties opposed to both gain more ground and electoral clout in the process. For the latest news stories, make sure you subscribe to SNG News. We're separating our in-depth analysis from our ground reports, and you'll continue to find them on Strat News Global. So make sure you like our videos on SNG News and also share them.